Hey, True Believers, England Teen here. Now, what you're about to see is pieces from a live stream. I'm going to be putting them out throughout the next week. And it was all based on a tweet I saw from Tim Seeley talking about the politics and comics. Now, I had to take it off and then go through it again because YouTube, unfortunately, will not allow people to talk about certain things. But thankfully, I live in the wonderful state of Florida, and we just had a bill passed that may be changing that. So fingers crossed. Anyway, kick back, relax, and let's get this party started. Hey, True Believers England Teen here. Kind of flying solo for a little bit. I did invite somebody on. Actually, I invited basically whoever wants to jump on to join the conversation here. But I wanted to talk about politics and comics. By the way, I was watching LA Confidential. Great film. If you have never seen it, give it a shot. I'm watching it on Prime. It was a tweet I saw from Tim Seeley. Now, I respect him as a writer. He's a good writer. And I do like his stuff. If you've ever checked out Revival, Dark Red is quite interesting, as well as some of his more famous things like Chastity and Hack and Slash and everything. I was actually going, well, okay, what has he written? Holy crap, a lot of stuff I like. The Lost Boys was a good time. Imaginary Fiends, I remember giving good reviews to. So it was good to go through and go, wow, okay. Yeah, I'm a Tim Seeley fan. What can I say? But he posted a tweet, and this isn't an angry tweet. It wasn't anything like that, but it did get me thinking. And I did respond to him because this is an argument I've heard so many times. And it's an argument that can only come from not listening to the people who are making the opposite, the opposite observance. Because many times, now granted, there's always trolls to any argument, and you could pick those apart no matter which side of the argument you're on. You could go, well, this troll represents everybody. No, trolls represent trolls. They're not the people. They're not the actual people who are going to sit down and talk to you as to what is wrong with something going on, like in modern day comics with politics. And we will be getting into that. First, let me say hello to LK and Montinuity. Tahilium's in the house. How do you do? Good to see you too. Tahilium saying, I imagine because now they're being forced in. Well, we're going to get to all of that. We're going to talk about this. LK says, the problem is writers are too untalented to do anything but drop anvils and make awful characters. They don't understand the difference between timeless ideals and activism. And that's why I want to bring up the fact that I am a Tim Seeley fan. I do like his work. Doesn't mean I like all of it, but in general, if I see his name on a comic book, I know I'm going to get a decent comic book. Okay. Let's see. Politics may have been in comic. Question remains, was it oversaturated in every single issue? Point that we're also going to be getting to. Now, one of the things I've been saying since I started this channel, and when I started this channel, it was a little bit aimless until I saw a gentleman named Howler Mouse, and he was talking about identity politics brought into comic books, and that kind of gave this channel a focus, because I don't believe in identitarianism. And yes, that is a made-up term. There's no, I don't think a lot of people use that, or identity politics, as it said. I don't believe in those, because it assumes that everybody of one demographic or another are exactly the same. And the whole fact that Tim feels one way about a situation, I feel about another, proves that at least one race is allowed to feel differently about things. Identity politics doesn't allow that with any other demographic, and that's why I find it to be wrong. And what's worse is if somebody does, if you're a black person and you disagree with the identity politicians, then you are somehow self-oppressive. It's an incredibly racist point of view when you look at people through one lens, only their demographic, only what they have. I have invited him. I don't think he's going to come on because nobody ever does. And I have invited anybody in the thread that I saw that disagree with me to come on and have a discussion. Once again, I doubt it, but if they do, 100% respect in the chat. Also, If you're listening in and you want to come on, understand that I do not tolerate racism in any way, shape, or form, and I do not tolerate slurs in any way, shape, or form. I don't allow them in my comment section. I don't allow them in my chat section. I've got about 15,000 blue wrenches ready to boot your ass out if you drop something like that. It is not tolerated at all. So that is one thing I do have to say as we're going through. Hello to Ethereal Dragon. How you doing? Oh, I lost you guys a little bit. For instance, I can see some of the political societal questions, issues raised in Once and Future, but it's well written and doesn't preach. That's one thing that amazes me. I know you guys have heard me talk about Upshot. I want to see if I've got one near me or something like that. Upshot Comics, AWA Upshot. That's Axel Alonso. Axel Alonso was the editor in chief that kind of led Marvel down the dark path. Yet, even though it's got a book where Grendel, Kentucky, where we have a female version of Beowulf, even though we have Bad Mother, who is a strong mom, not a I went to the army and learned all sorts of superpowers kind of mom, but just a regular mother who wants to rescue her daughter kicking all sorts of butt. Even though it's got those kind of characters, they aren't written in any other way but strong women. And that's something you're missing from modern day mainstream comics. The identitarians, the identity politics is heavy into it, to the point where you do have the Mary Sues. You do have the people who are not fully fleshed out characters. And that's one of the biggest problems. Now, in a moment, I'm going to get to the tweet and everything, and we'll talk about that. Hello to Joe Rogers. LK saying LA Confidential is an amazing movie and should have won Best Picture instead of Titanic. Yes, I said that during the Oscar broadcast. I knew Titanic was going to get it, but I thought that LA Confidential should have. It is an amazing movie. It's just one of those I realized, wait, I haven't seen it in forever and a day. I disagree as a devil's advocate, says, but I'd just be trolling, says Emerald Center. And that's one thing that that I don't want. I don't want, as much as possible, I do not want to assume what the other side is saying. I also invited just some guy on, or Dalton, any of the people who usually talk politics with me and such, just in case nobody else jumps on and I don't have to fly solo completely. Look at Gojira. Imagine how much that movie would have sucked if all they did was boil it down to nuke bad. Yeah, you have to have entertainment as well. So let me get to the tweet, and then I'm going to explain my part in this and what I am talking about, just in case anyone from that thread is listening and actually want to hear the conversation. So, okay, let me make sure nothing bad is open. Okay, yes, I can share this. Let's see. Here we go. So it's Tim Seeley. Once again, I'm a fan. I like the fact that he calls himself Hackin' Tim, because Hack and Slash is pretty cool. This storyline was from when I was 10 years old. Dang, you're young, man. When I was 10, where New Deal Democrat Steve Rogers was replaced by Reagan Republican John Walker, is probably why I can't oblige the keep your politics out of my superheroes argument. All righty. So I said, well, it's because you're lying to yourself, and it is about politics in comics instead of listening and engaging into what the objections really are. And that's what I had to say. Now, I could have been a little bit easier on that, in all honesty. I didn't have to put in you're lying to yourself. I could have, that was on me. I think I was a little bit rude there. It was one of those things where I sent and went, oh, I wish we did have an edit button, you know, because the rest of the message makes it clear. I've been doing this channel for 5 years, and only one time has anyone on the left side, as far as identity politics are concerned, has ever jumped on in any of these invites. Only one time. Instead, and this happens on our side too, people like to live in their own bubble and just kind of hurl things at the other side without really engaging and listening to what the complaint or what the problem really is. And it's proven in Tim's reaction where he goes, uh-huh. Now, I don't know if he's like, uh-huh, or uh-huh. Is that, you know, it could be either way. He could be like, like I'm getting your point. Let me hear more. But it might be a little bit more sarcastic, as in, sure, guy, whatever. It could be either way. And that's when I went, you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's actually have a conversation about this. I would love it if anyone from that thread jumped on. Tim Seeley's name is not in this in the title. I wouldn't put it in there. I wouldn't change it. But here's the thing. Politics have been around in comic books since the adventures of Old Buck in, I believe, 1847. Okay? Everybody knows this. Most people, I should say, know this. I'm sure there's some people out there who actually say an ignorant term. Get politics out of my comics. My guess is they don't actually mean get politics out of my comics. There's been a change. See, comic books really have been in, politics have been in comics since the very beginning. That's just the way it is. Look at Yellow Kid. Yellow Kid was about life in the slums. The Adventures of Old Buck, as I said before, had to deal with war and poverty. We have stuff like Superman. Everybody brings up the fact that he was beating the tar out of union busters and slumlords. Politics has been around. Captain America, right on the cover, first issue, boom, punching a Nazi. There you go. That's probably the most famous version of it. It's been around forever. So why are we complaining today when we weren't complaining before? Because let me tell you something, guys. Not only was politics in comic books since the very beginning, but they've been liberal politics, classical liberal politics for most part. And that's another part. That's another thing where we are just veering off into gone land. Excuse me. I just ate dinner and then started doing this, so I apologize. One of the well, I did get somebody to join. Give me just a second, sir. So we have to talk about the difference between how politics were handled then and politics are handled now. One of the greatest lines I ever heard from a critic, far better than me, his name was Roger Ebert. Some of you younger people might not know him, but he was a very famous movie critic. He once said that it is not what a film is about, it's how it's about it. And that's what we've lost in modern day comics. And ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome my my velvet self, or is it felt? I have no idea, but we have Puppetine. So there
hello, everybody.
You have just destroyed the credibility of this live stream, sir. But there you go. All righty. Okay. So here's the thing. Why are politics different than before? It's because they were more vague. They did things like bullying is bad, racism is bad. And yes, even in superhero comics, violence is bad. What it never said is you are bad. And that's a big difference than what we're getting nowadays. It's one thing to not like the president. That's been in since Silver Age as well. The Serpent Crown. Serpent Society. It's been around as well. Back then they were saying, hey, Richard Nixon's a snake, you know. So yeah, okay, we get it. You could go after the president all you want, but nowadays it's like, oh, you like the president? Well, you're bad. Those are the kind of politics. Those are the kind of things we're getting today. And how are you? Do you have a thought on this?
I mean, you sum it up pretty dang well, I have to say.
Okay.
Honestly, nowadays, all you get is just that. It's attacking people that could be reading. And it's for just stupid, silly issues. Honestly, a lot of people nowadays, we've forgotten about caring for our fellow man. And I think that is an important part that we have to remember. Even though we have differences and we believe different things, as long as you aren't actually harming people or wanting the harm of people, that doesn't make you the villain.
Yeah. And exactly, it should be it should be where we are able to have a conversation, or at least if the modern day comic books were written to engage people in conversation, it would be done a little bit better. But unfortunately, we're not getting that. It's straight up, you're bad because, well, you're a Trump supporter. I am. I did. I voted for Trump both times.
They didn't let me vote.
Yeah, you're a little young.
Young. Sure.
You were created last year.
Young. It's because size doesn't matter from where I'm from.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Are we sure he isn't doing this to get votes for his Robin books in the DC Round Robin contest? What is this one against? I don't think I voted for the Robin book. There are just some characters I would have liked to. Batman is now the Batman family, so I think it would be better to bring up different characters. I got you, Nolan Nerd. Thank you very much. Let's see. Oof, I voted for that. I'm sure it'll be an okay to good. He's a good writer. Please don't take that as any way as me saying he's a bad writer or anything. We just have a disagreement. Let's see. Seeley writes some good stories. They usually aren't superhero ones, though, says Almighty Jack. From mainstream Universal, says Emerald, to partisan fringe politics. I think that's the difference. I don't think it's fringe anymore. But the whole thing is it's now the difference between we read God Loves, Man Kills, and it's all about ostracizing that which is different. Now, here's something. In this tweet, somebody right here, it's definitely, oh, wait, nope. Where'd it go? Here it is. And once again, please do not go to any of these people that I'm reading or anything. Marvel's mutants are why I scoffed at the keep politics out of comics opinion. The X-Men are the most political characters in comics, especially to the oppressed minorities. They subversively represent mainstream culture. Okay, so here's the thing. This is one of the reasons why, in my opinion, the X-Men are a pale shadow of their former selves. It's because they try to go way too specific. The X-Men weren't about, when they were written, they were not about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. That was brought in later. Stan Lee did not do that. That was not Stan Lee's idea. But the brilliance of the X-Men is they represented anybody who did not feel good in their own skin. You see how that works? Doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're an Asian, doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're Latina, does not matter. It just matters that you yourself felt uncomfortable in your own skin. So teenagers reading this book felt that way. They could connect because what teenager felt good in their own skin? Except for maybe that jock football player that seemed to have no freaking acne, you know, and grew up to the proper height and didn't have to be 5'2" until he turned 17. Not that I'm angry or anything like that. But point being is, oh, there you go. Thank you. Point being is that the X-Men stood for everybody, but nowadays they're saying, no. The X-Men only stand for these people. The X-Men only stand for those people. And they're losing the real definition. They're losing what the X-Men really were because of identity politics. I will never stop going up against that racist ideology of identity politics. So there you go, gang. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below about any of it, especially the X-Men part, because that part has always bothered me. I'm going to be doing an if I wrote kind of thing, but I'm going to start redoing it in a different format. But one of the things that bothered me is how people don't understand the X-Men and they're writing the freaking comic book. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, because commenting and liking the whole 9 yards, basically interacting with the video, helps to show the algorithm that people are interested in the channel, and maybe we could get past this shadow ban. Anyway, once again, I'd like to thank everybody who's helped out the channel. By the way, at this point I was supposed to say go to Patreon and everything in the link below. Ko-Fi's good because that goes straight to the PayPal, or just go to PayPal at England Team. Oh no, at Medium Admin 1 or Anglantine, either one of them help. So anyway, I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.